for chapter 4, does anyone think they know the first vocabulary word? I know how to pronounce that first vocab word for chapter 4. How do you think you pronounce the first vocab word, Aaliyah?
Bitterly?
Bitterly, yeah. So bitterly, you can give a connection signal. And if I'm doing something bitterly, like if my parents ask me to do a chore, but I kind of like, ugh, fine. Okay. If I'm doing something bitterly, I'm doing something in like an angry way. You can give a connection signal if that's what you thought it meant. So if I'm doing something bitterly, I'm doing something angrily, in like an angry way. So Michaela, what I would do is I would write down in that box next to bitterly, you'd write down the word angrily, and then you draw like a little picture of maybe like a person looking pretty grumpy. So if I'm doing something bitterly, I'm doing something kind of angrily. But there's actually kind of a happy ending, even though chapter 4 is called loneliness. There's kind of a happy ending to it too. Yes, Saul.
I found the person of up.
What's up?
I found the
Oh yes, there's that guy in the up, and he kind of
that guy who's I don't know who it is.
Well, he's kind of, I don't remember his name, but he's kind of a grumpy old man in the beginning. You know, he's sad, he's lost his life, but a lot of what he does is sort of, he does it in like a bitter way in the beginning, and then there's a happier ending by the end of that movie. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next word. Does anyone think they know how to pronounce that next word? What do you think, Jaylene? How do you pronounce that next word? Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Budge.
Budge. Does anyone know what it means to budge? Like, or what it means for something to not budge? Aaliyah, you think you know?
Budge means like it doesn't move.
Yeah, well, if something budges, it does move. But if something doesn't budge, it doesn't move. Yeah. So, for example, like this little goat, he won't budge. Like sometimes if you're walking a dog, and you're tugging on their leash, but they stay put and they won't budge. They won't move. And then there's an X over the picture because that woman is like trying to push this boulder, but it won't budge. It won't move or it won't change. Okay. So the word budge means move or change. Yes, Scarlett, what's up?
Can you draw a mad face for number 1?
Yes, you can. Because that would be kind of like grumpy, sort of angry. So bitter means kind of like grumpy, angrily. But if something, like just like Aaliyah said, if something won't budge, it won't move or change. So it could also be like, you know how we learn the word reconsider? And the goose says, reconsider, reconsider, reconsider. Sometimes people, they won't budge on their opinions. They will not reconsider. They won't change their minds. So again, budge means move or change. So I would draw, sometimes the easiest way to think of this is something that won't budge, that won't move or change. Oh, I love his new outfit, Vicente. All right. The next vocabulary word, does someone think they know how to pronounce that next word? I'll give you a hint. It's a short E. So it's eh. Penny, what do you think?
Steadily.
Steadily, yeah. Can you give a connection signal if you've ever heard the word steadily? I see Cherish has at least heard this word. Aaliyah's heard this word. So steadily, if I'm doing something steadily, it's staying calm and balanced. So you want to, like, oh, in the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. Have you ever heard that? Slow and steady wins the race. So yeah, if you're saying, I see some connection signals. So if you're saying, if you are staying, sorry. If you're staying, oh, sorry. There we go. Ay, caramba. What happened? Let me retry it, kiddos. Computers, my friends, computers, and Miss Walsh. And maybe not enough coffee. There we go. It looks like my vocab slide's closed, so thank you for being patient. And I think I can pull it back up again. There we go. That should work.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it full screen. Do you?
Okay. Yeah, so if I'm doing something in a calm, steady way, like this man is holding the camera steadily. He's holding it very balanced, because when you film something, you don't want it going like this. Or this little man is standing on the balancing board steadily. Okay. Or certainly if you're climbing a ladder, you want to climb the ladder steadily. You want to climb the ladder in a still, calm, balanced way. And these girls are just kind of moving steadily along the water. The water's pretty calm. It's not choppy and like this. It's chill. Okay. All right. So the next vocabulary word, and again, thank you for being a little bit patient. Does anyone think, if you know the meaning of this next word, can you show me what your face might look like if you look like this next word? Yeah, Cherish has it. So if I'm doing something like this next word, Cherish, what does it mean? What is this next word? Can you pronounce it?
Gloomy.
Gloomily. And what does it mean to be gloomy?
It means to be sad.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are if you're doing something gloomily, you're doing something sadly. You're doing something in a sad way. Like Eeyore. Do you know Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? He always walks around gloomily. He walks around kind of like this all the time. So if you're doing something gloomily, you're doing something in a sad way. Yes, Saul.
That's like sadness in Inside Out.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes if people are often behaving bitterly, they might also be gloomy. They might be sad. So yeah, that's kind of like the older man in Inside Out as well. But I like that there's a happy ending to that movie too. So if you're doing something gloomily, you're doing something kind of sadly. So I would draw like a sad face or tears or something like that. Does anyone know how to pronounce the next word? Saul, you think you know how to pronounce the next word?
Mentioned.
Mentioned, yeah. Can you give a connection signal if you've heard the word mentioned before? What do you think, Vicente?
And I think mentioned means like I just mentioned it. Like if someone was on a problem that they didn't know and they just got it, that means they mentioned it.
Yeah, so that's how you would use the word in the sentence. You would say, oh yeah, he mentioned that yesterday. So I see that some of you, yeah. So if you mention something, you just told something like in passing. You said something kind of like, you just kind of said something in a quick way. Like, oh yeah, my mom mentioned to me yesterday that we'll go to the park today. She just kind of said something in a quick way. Or Miss Walsh mentioned that, she'll talk to my mom later on this afternoon. It's just kind of saying something in a quick sort of offhand way. Yes, Scarlett.
What can you draw for that though?
So I would maybe like this picture of the two people talking with like little speech bubbles.
But do you have to draw words?
You don't have to draw words. You can do other symbols for talking, might be like these little speech bubbles here, or like these little sound. These are symbols for sound, these little 3 lines. So that could be another something that you could use instead of words. Here, I'm going back to this for just a second. I'll go here. So it's like, oh yeah, just sort of mentioned it yesterday, no big deal. All right. Does anyone know how to pronounce the next word? Maybe someone I haven't heard from yet. What do you think, Aaliyah? How do you pronounce the next word?
Frolic.
Frolic. Yeah, you can give a connection signal if that's what you thought. So if I'm frolicking through a field, if someone's frolicking, they might be sort of running, jumping through a field, kind of like these two kids. They're running and jumping. These characters are frolicking in the middle of a courtyard. These two kids are frolicking at a party. This frog is frolicking. He's just kind of jumping up and down in a happy way. So if you're frolicking, it means a playful action or movement. So a picture I would draw for this is like two kids running after each other with like smiley faces, or sort of like a quick dance movement with a happy face. Yes, Saul.
Those are the kids from Adventure Time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just Googled frolicking and came up with that. But if you are frolicking, you're happy, you're playing, maybe you're chasing after each other or dancing. I actually was like, I think a lot of you might frolic in the field at school. You might be sort of chasing after each other and enjoying each other's time while you're playing. That would be frolicking. Now, the next couple words, the boxes are a little small. Do you see how the two words share a box? So you're going to write the next definition. You're going to share a box with that one. So you just have to be mindful of space, okay? So just know that frolic and the next word share a box. So speaking of the next word, does anyone think they know how to pronounce it? It's a short U. What do you think, Scarlett? How do you think you pronounce the next word?
Gluten.
Close. It's glutton. Glutton. So very close. Now, glutton, we've actually learned a word. I thought we learned a word. Oh, if someone has an enormous appetite, like an enormous appetite, they might be a glutton, or it might be described as a glutton. And in the book of Charlotte's Web, the character, you're going to meet a new character named Templeton the rat. and he's going to be a glutton. So a glutton is someone who has like a really, really, really big appetite. They eat, like a glutton might eat more than they should for sure. So a glutton is a very greedy eater. It would not be very polite to call someone a glutton, by the way, but you know, if you're eating like a glutton, you eat very greedily, definitely more than you should. My Lucy was kind of acting like a glutton the other day. She went in my purse. I had a bag of treats in my purse. And you know what this cat did? She ripped open with her teeth the bag of treats. And so I found them scattered all through the bottom of my purse. And so I had to put them in a plastic container that she couldn't get to them. So a greedy eater. All right, now the last word is actually the same thing. If someone is behaving gloomily, they're behaving in the exact same way as this next word. Does anyone think they know how to pronounce the last word? What do you think, Brooklyn? Oh, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce the last word?
Dejected.
Beautiful, dejected. So if it's very similar, like if someone's behaving gloomily, they're behaving in a dejected way. So Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh is often dejected, or this little guy is dejected. So what do you think dejected means? What do you think it means to be dejected, Aaliyah?
Sad.
Sad, yeah. So if you're feeling dejected, you are feeling sad. So all I would do for the word dejected, I would be very impressed. Oh, my baby. My little cat's jumping up and down. If I'm feeling sad, I would also be very impressed if you use the word dejected instead. It's an interesting way of saying sad. All right, kids, you want to show Brooklyn, beautiful job. I like how she's holding it up and showing me her finished product. Yes, Vicente.
Can you go back to this one because I forgot to do it again. This one.
Which word? Tell me, sweetheart. I can't see it.
The third one.
Oh, the third one. So that third word is steadily. So, and we'll just quickly review all the ways. So if you're doing something steadily, you're doing something, this is where my sharing got a little messed up, was on this word. You're doing something in a very calm, balanced way. So when I do yoga, I try to do yoga steadily. I try to balance on one leg steadily. Yes, Scarlett.
The last one doesn't really have what it wants us to write down.
Sad. The last word, dejected, means sad. Yeah. And then I would just draw another really sad person. Yeah. All right, kiddos. Vicente, did you get it? Okay. So again, just to review, bitterly means angrily. Can you all show me what your face might look like if you're doing something bitterly? Yeah, like Jaylene. Yeah, good acting skills. I like it. What does it look like if something won't budge? Like, can you act it out? Like if you're trying to make something budge, you're trying to make something move, okay? Or maybe you've tried to convince your parents to get a pet, but their minds won't budge. They won't change their minds, okay? Or if I'm doing something steadily, can you show me what your arm might look like if you're doing something kind of steadily? Yeah, or like Vicente's balancing steadily on one foot. Yeah. Gloomily, can you show me gloomily, if you're behaving gloomily? Yeah, sad, good, Saul. Mentioned, just kind of like talking. Yeah, just mentioned it yesterday. Okay. Frolicking, la 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 la. Jumping, frolicking, moving around happily. Do, 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 do. Glutton. Okay. And Templeton the rat is behaving like a glutton. He eats way too much. And then dejected. Can you show me dejected? I see some of you. Anthony V looks kind of dejected. Scarlett looks dejected. Jaylene looks dejected. Awesome. Okay, kiddos, we don't have time